What is up, everybody? My name is Justin French, covering music for those who care. And right now, I'm taking a look at the new studio album from Between the Buried and Me. This one is entitled Automata I. Alright, can I give a quick disclaimer before I start with this review? Prior to me listening to this album, I actually had no idea of the music for this band. Now, I've heard the name before. I've heard Between the Buried and Me so many times before. Friends, YouTube, community, pretty much stuff like that. And the reason why I kind of wanted to check this one out is because I've heard that this band has gotten a lot of praise for its kind of more technical and progressive sounds in their sound of music. So I thought, why not? I kind of dig that kind of stuff, so why not give them a try? And I did a little bit of research for this album, and I did see that besides the critical acclaim that this band is pretty well known for, this band is also based out of Raleigh, North Carolina, which is actually somewhat in my state, so North Carolina, pretty far from Hickory. But anyways, going into this album, I didn't really know what to expect from it. I know they're kind of more of this kind of technical and progressive kind of styling band. So what are my thoughts on this record? Now, this is also the band's first album on Samaritan Records, which is home to artists such as From First to Last and Asking Alexandria. And I actually learned too that this band was previously signed to Metal Blade Records, which is home to artists such as Automata I, the early Slayer records, and even Cannibal Corpse. So that was pretty interesting to know too. For one thing, I actually kind of dig the concept of this record, and apparently there's going to be a second part to this being released, I think in the summer, or some part in 2018, but I just kind of want to give you the concept of this record real quick. It says, from frontman Tommy Rogers, this says, "What if dreams could be broadcast for the purpose of entertainment? Could you consume the innermost thoughts of another person on screen? If you could, what does that say about an attention-starved audience? Most importantly, my bad, what would become of the dreamer?" Now, that's a pretty interesting thing to kind of think about, and it kind of makes the listener kind of think about that too as they kind of listen to this record. Also, the technicality of this album and its instrumentation is just spectacular, honestly. There's never a dull moment that I can't stop and just say, you know, I kind of wish that was a bit better. I mean, the music just pretty much blew me away the first time I listened to this album. And also the musicianship is very, very strong. No member of this band has a dull moment on this record at all. One more thing I love about this album is just the atmosphere that it brings. Whenever you listen to the acoustics that start off Condemned to the Gallows, you just know that you're kind of in for something, and that clean singing too just kind of builds up, and then we get into more of the heavier part of the song, and then it just keeps going with more technicality and progression throughout the rest of the album until we get to that abrupt ending on the last track, Blot. And I guess one negative I guess I could say, well, I can't really because, well, let me go ahead and get it out of the way. This album is only 6 tracks long, and there's only like 3 tracks that go over the 5-minute mark, and I can't really say anything really negative about it because there's supposed to be a second part to this album sometime later this year, so just kind of take back what I said about that. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the tracks since there's only about maybe 6 of them. So anyways, let me talk about these tracks maybe like at least a minute, maybe less than that, but let's give it a minute. The first song that is on the album is Condemned to the Gallows, which I talked about a little bit. What I love about the song is how it kind of opens with that more acoustic kind of leading sound, and then it gets to that line where it's singing Condemned to the Gallows, and then it kind of has a little echo, and then we get more heavier in the sound. And I love the progression of this song, especially in the guitars. I really like that little guitar lead in the middle of the song, and then it gets really, really brutal near the end of the song. And I love the vocals on this song, especially how they alternate from like heavier to kind of clean singing, so you kind of get the best of both worlds on that track. And I also love how it kind of was chosen to be the first single that is on the thing, because I think it was a nice kind of background as to what we're gonna expect on this record. House Organ is the second track that is on this album, and to be honest with you, the first time I heard this song, the first word that kind of popped into my head after listening to it was industrial. It definitely has that kind of influence, especially in the keyboards that kind of are added to the song later on. But the beginning of this song, whenever I was listening to it from my left ear, it kind of had more of like this kind of beeping sound, and then the guitar riff in my right, and then the drums kind of kicked in, and just that was probably the best part of the song. The drums, it just really pounded very well. The guitars kind of reminded me of something maybe heavy, kind of punk, I guess you would say. I mean, that's just me. And then the vocals, again, sounded really heavier, kind of more screamed, and then it kind of develops more into this kind of more piano-led song after that part, so I pretty much enjoyed the diversity that I got off of that song. Moving right along, we have Yellow Eyes as the third song, and man, this song goes all over the place in its sound. It starts with kind of what I like to call a Dream Theater-esque kind of vibe with the guitars, and then it develops into more of this kind of thrashier feel on the song, and then it kind of slows it down with, I don't want to say it's acoustic or clean guitar, but it's something that kind of sounds in between that. And then the drums just go really, really offbeat before that little acoustic clean guitar part, and then it gets into more of the heavier kind of sound that we're known for this band being. And I think the lyrics are pretty well done on this song, and the vocals on this thing really crush, especially in the kind of clean singing too. So definitely one of the highlights on this record. Next up we have Millions, and Millions is more of kind of showing more of the melodic side to the record. And I also have to mention that it's probably the slowest song on the record besides the instrumental track Gold Distance, which I'll talk about here in a minute. But anyways, going into that track, I kind of love the guitar flow on the song. The bass has a really nice groove to it, and I love that the drums aren't really kind of, going all crazy and stuff. They're kind of slowing it down a bit, and I love more of the melodic kind of singing that is featured on the song. There is a part where it's kind of, screaming, and then it kind of gets a bit heavier, but then it kind of slows it down again and kind of leads into the next track, which I actually just mentioned about a few seconds ago. Now, I don't really have much to say about Gold Distance, which is the instrumental on this album. It's only 1:02. All I can say is it's pretty much like a closer to Millions and an opening to the final track on this record, Blot. If anything, this is probably the skippable track. I mean, it's still pretty good, but I mean, it's just a bunch of like build up and kind of leaving off, going into the build up of Blot. The last track that we have off of this album is Blot, and Blot kind of starts off a bit weird. Blot kind of starts off with what I like to call maybe a Middle Eastern kind of influence, because it sounds like a sitar being played, and then it kind of leads into that kind of brutal scream, and then it builds up more and more within the track. I love the bass on this song, definitely. The drums really kick ass. The guitars, of course, are great. And then it kind of goes back into the Middle Eastern part for a few seconds, and then somewhere in the middle of the song, about maybe like the 4-minute mark, we get this kind of weird part where it's kind of sounding like, I don't know, I kind of got a vibe out of Radiohead. I don't know if anyone else did, but that's just me. I don't know why. I'm probably weird for that, but yeah, all of a sudden I got this kind of Radiohead kind of influence in its kind of part, and then it built up more and more with the heavier technicality of the song, and I love the progression in the song. This track is over 10 minutes long, a little bit over that, and then it kind of ends very abruptly, so it kind of builds up into the next album, which is most likely going to be Automata II, whenever that comes out. I don't know if it's summer or sometime in 2018. So anyways, those are my thoughts on the songs, and overall, I'm really, really digging this band, and I'm really enjoying this album very much. There's not one song, although I did say Gold Distance is, I guess, skippable just because it's a minute of instrumentation. I still really enjoy the songs on this record. So my rating on this, just because of that one, and I love the musicianship on that record, and also the technicality and progression that this band kind of builds more and more on this record, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. So anyways, now I've never heard of this band, so maybe I might discover more of their discography. If there's maybe a song or even a record from this band you'd like me to check out, definitely comment in the comment section down below, y'all. I really love getting back comments, even, hate comments happens, but I always love to hear feedback from y'all. So definitely check that out. And anyways, if you like this video, definitely give it a like, give it a subscribe if you would like to see more content like this, kind of album reviews and react reviews. More stuff to be coming soon. And anyways, thanks for watching this video. Thank you all for watching this video. As always, thanks to Infinity on Hannah for these awesome designs. If you want to subscribe to my channel, you can click right over there to catch up on more content on this channel. If you want to see a previous video that I did, you can click right over there to see that video. And if you want to follow any of my social media links, they are linked down at the bottom. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and hope to see you soon.